Welcome to this month's Being Brunswick. I'm your host, Shannon Vieira. I want to thank our sponsors today, ATMC TV, Surf Unlimited, and Dane Delane Salon Studios. We have a really exciting show for you today. We are at BCC, Brunswick Community College, and we are taking a peek into their HVAC program and into their welding program. So follow me as we go check things out here on Being Brunswick. Welcome back. I am here with Timothy Randall, who's Director of Workforce Development here at Brunswick Community College. Timothy, thank you for being here today.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Great. Well, thanks for letting us come by and take a look at some of your programs. Could you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing tonight?
Well, tonight we're going to be visiting the welding shop and the HVAC shop. Later on, I hope to bring you back for our, hopefully, plumbing class as well as our machine shop class in Leland.
So welding, HVAC, plumbing, and machine shop. Are there any other programs that are under your jurisdiction that you want right now?
Just the welding and the HVAC falls under me. The other directors for those other two programs that I mentioned.
Wonderful. And how many students do you have enrolled right now in your programs?
In welding, the two welding classes, probably around 20 students. In the HVAC, 11 students.
Wonderful. And you're saying you're looking to start the plumbing program?
Yes.
Do you see that as a need in this area?
Yes, it is. We get employers all the time looking for people, and we don't have the students, so we want to market that area so we can start offering classes.
Fantastic. What is the machine shop about? What do you do out there?
Well, the machine shop, let me put it this way, in the manufacturing realm up in the industrial park, they need folks that have those types of skills that can operate different types of machinery and make pretty good money.
Wonderful. And how many years has the Brunswick Community College been handling or offering these trade programs? Do you know the answer to that?
Ever since the college has been here, because we started off as a technical school.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to be talking to Ron, is that right, over at HVAC?
Ron Skoog is the HVAC instructor. Preston Connolly is the welding instructor.
All right, and they're into the second half of their program, is that right? So they're kind of into the hands-on portion of the class?
Yes. Well, when it comes to continuing education, there is some classroom, but the majority of it is hands-on.
Can you tell me how long each program lasts?
One of the classes is 212 hours, so both of the classes typically a semester long. Like this class started at the end of July, and it's going to end in December.
All right, and when will you be accepting applications for the next class, and when will that happen?
Starting next week, we will be accepting students for classes.
And those start in December or January?
January.
All right, so I think we're going to head on over to our HVAC class first and talk to Ron and see what goes on behind the scenes there. Stay tuned.
ATMC is a cooperative. That means we're member-owned and member-controlled. And because we're a nonprofit, we refund portions of the revenues not used to cover expenses in any given year back to our members. These refunds are called capital credits. In September, ATMC distributed over $3 million in capital credit refunds to more than 49,000 of our members, both past and present. $1.5 million was refunded to members who had qualifying services in 1998, and for the first time ever, we distributed an additional $1.5 million to members who had qualifying service in 2016. ATMC has a long history of giving back to our members. In fact, since the year 2000, we've given back more than $42 million in capital credit refunds to our membership. This is the sign of a strong cooperative and a great example of how cooperatives put members first. On behalf of our board and our over 200 employees, we thank you for your patronage and we thank you for choosing ATMC.
The administrators and the teachers, everybody, all the stakeholders were a lot more interested in doing more STEM. And so it seemed like a good time to apply for an ATMC grant and get more iPads in the classroom here for the art classroom and the music classroom, and it's been a big hit since we've got them.
Well, these projects in music, what we did was use the program GarageBand in order for students to create their own original music that paired along with the project they did in art class. Their goal was to create music that represented the same core value they created visually in Minecraft.
Minecraft is where you could place blocks wherever you would like, and you could just let your imagination flow through, and you could almost create anything you would like. My teammate was Lydia, and we worked together, and we came up with the idea of a bouquet.
In art class, we created an American flag and a duck to represent the value of honesty. In music, we use GarageBand to create music to show that same value.
You know, with this new creativity, they're able to create their own ideas and work in new ways, which are going to solve the problems that we're having today in the 21st century.
One of the great things about Brunswick County is we have a lot of STEM industries here in our community. We have the power plant, we have Corning over in Wilmington, and ATMC is a big employer here in the county, and they're part of our community. So it's really great that they're able to facilitate our schools having more technology by doing grant funding.
It's so impressive and it's so amazing that they're willing to invest their money into the lives of these students that we have here at Bolivia. Because a lot of these students may not have the ability to do this stuff on their own, and because of ATMC, these kids are getting opportunities to learn in new ways in the evolving world with the new technology that's coming out.
Hey, Ron, thanks for letting us come to your class today.
Oh, thanks for being here.
So talk to us a little bit about what we're doing right now.
So we're doing a HVAC brazing class. The old way we used to just braze or weld our copper and just on the outside. But now with the newer refrigerants, we have to flow a slow amount of dry nitrogen on our copper and then braze our joints. It keeps the inside of the copper clean.
Okay.
And the units last longer, and it doesn't mix with the refrigerant oil.
Very good. So, and how do you, I saw with, yeah, we're using the soldering tool to kind of cut, is it, we have to have a certain measurement length? Is that?
Yes, this device over here makes the fitting,
Okay,
and then this one fits inside it.
okay,
And so now we're going to solder that, but we're also going to flow rate some of the dry nitrogen. That's what this is.
Okay.
Will flow through here while Joe makes the weld. And then we show the students, we'll cut this open and we'll see how dirty this is on the inside and how clean this.
All
This
right.
actually stays the same on the inside as it is outside.
all right. So Joe's going to come over and do
Yes,
all
he
that.
is.
All right, come on. Hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for
Oh, not a problem.
letting,
Thanks for being
letting
here.
me watch what you're doing here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to clean the tube first. Is that right? With the nitrogen?
Yeah, we're going to flow it through.
Flow
there.
it through.
I think it's going through there. I'll check that.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
I didn't know y'all used fire in your tools. Now, is this stuff you have to do every time you're maintenance in
Yeah.
a unit?
No, this is just when we install a new unit and we're hooking up the copper refrigerant lines, or we do a unit change out. That is expired, it's time to change out. We'll use the existing lines, clean them out, or replace the lines depending on the condition they're in.
So you may hopefully only have to do this one time during the unit's
Right.
lifetime.
Or if there becomes a leak in a pipe at some point, a repair may need to be made.
And I'm going to guess this material is copper? Is that?
Yes.
All right.
It's called ACR, air conditioning and refrigeration copper. And it's a tube coping. The soft copper comes in a roll.
So what is Joe doing right now?
So now Joe is going ahead and welding that, but the nitrogen is flowing through the copper while he's doing that, so no soot builds up on the inside. This is the proper technique,
And that's the part that you said keeps it clean,
Yes.
is that nitrogen
Mhm.
flow.
Right.
I see. Okay.
because that on the outside you see the last weld, this gray material mixes with the refrigerant oil and gets the sludge film and clogs metering devices, and it's bad for the unit.
How far into the classroom experience do you get before you're kind of hands-on into this stuff?
This is the end of our first level, and these 6 or 7 of these people are going to go to level 2, and that's a lot more hands-on. Level 1 is a lot of book.
Yeah.
And the next one is all hands-on, where we break all the components of air conditioning and heat pump down into individual components, how they work, how to diagnose if they're working properly, and if they're not, what's going on.
How long have you been teaching the class?
I've been here at Brunswick Community College for 10 years.
Wow, wonderful. So you've seen a lot of changes as far as the technology for the industry?
You have to stay up with it. It changes almost on a monthly basis.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and everything is getting more technology-based, digital-based, and so the basic refrigeration systems are the same. It's just all the components are becoming more modern, more digital, more energy efficient.
I feel like I need like a manual to like operate my ice maker, on the fridge these days.
Or your thermostat at home, right?
Well, now you can do it on your phone. Your phone
yeah.
can do all. Oh, I forgot to. I need to adjust my temperature. That's really great. So what's happening now with the...
He's just cooling that off and inspecting his work, and then we're going to attempt to cut that pipe open and see if it's clean inside.
All right. Well, we'll just see what happens here with Joe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So Joe, tell me what got you thinking about being in this HVAC program?
Well, I've always had an interest in working on mechanical things, and I take pride in working on stuff for my own, the house and everything. And one thing I wasn't really sure about was the HVAC system. And I teach Army JROTC, and I came out and got some information on it and realized it was pretty easy to sign up, and timing was everything back this summer, and realized that they had HVAC 1 starting. So I signed up for it, and it's been a blast ever since. So 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to learn a little bit about it, but 2, my students, it's another opportunity to coach, teach, and mentor them and get them tied into the education system here in Brunswick County. This county needs a lot of good hands-on service techs, electricians, a lot of the trades. It's hard to find good, reliable work, so that was a big push for me. So.
Where do you teach?
At West Brunswick High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I might know a student or 2 in there.
Okay, all right.
I'll see how fun. So you're doing this so you can tell your students about the program and give them an option, and kind of be, I've done it, and you can do it.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
So it's, again, trying to help them to better themselves. Not all kids are designed to go to 4-year colleges, despite some of the educators what they think. BC is a great school, and all the trades that they've got here. I don't think Cape Fear Community College has the HVAC system. I could be wrong, but I don't think
They don't have the certification.
right?
The level.
The
Okay,
level, yeah.
wonderful.
So it makes it really unique down here.
That's why I like doing the show. We learn about those little tidbits about how wonderful our community is. People don't realize that we are Brunswick County. We have a little bit step above what's going
it's
on.
a great resource for students that are not sure what they're going to do.
So I can call you to come fix my stuff?
Hey, well, I tell you what,
Or any of y'all.
we're getting there. Next semester with HVAC 2, we're going to get into a little bit more of the hands-on stuff and putting together a heat pump from scratch. Looking
So
forward
you
to
can
it.
see our result. Here's the old way we used to do it, and all the
Oh my
contamination.
gosh.
Look how clean
It's like
the new
brand
one is.
new in there.
Yeah.
Show
See?
that to Aaron and Nathan there. That is amazing.
So this is the old way we used to do it, and this is what needs to be done for proper installation
Wow.
today.
That makes
brand
it. You
new.
can really
Yeah.
see that difference. Wonderful. Well, I want to thank y'all for letting me invade your classroom for the day. I hope that we get more people interested in the program. I think it's a great program that we have, and I look forward to seeing you guys out in our workforce here real soon if you're not already. So thank you very much. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
I think having a Brunswick Community College softball team will benefit all 3 high schools in our county tremendously. We have young ladies here in our community that go on and play at other community colleges. This way they'll be able to stay home, be with their families, be close to home, and also they'll be able to get the Brunswick guarantee money and be on full scholarship. So that's a win-win situation for us, and I think it would be for the young ladies that would come here to play softball at Brunswick Community College. I just think if our student athletes, the ones that we can get from Brunswick County, stay home, and the ones that come in give back to Brunswick County and to our community, then our community will give to the programs that are here to help these kids succeed and become successful and move on and get a college education. And we learned that very quickly with the baseball program and our other programs, that it was really, really important for our student athletes to be in the community and do the right thing. A lot of these young people that come from all over the state of North Carolina and even further away in some instances, they would not even go to school at all if it were not for athletics. We have right at 95% of our student athletes that are sophomores that are here move on to 4-year schools and complete their education. We'd like to thank ATMC for giving to our programs, and they've given to our programs in the past and been very supportive here. And you know, without corporate sponsors and people like you guys doing that, we wouldn't be able to survive.
All right, we just finished up with the HVAC class, which was great with Ron and the guys and gals over there. So now we're going to go into the welding class. I don't know if you can hear it. They're already busy back there. So I'm excited to get in there and see what's going on in the welding class. So Timothy, thanks for bringing me back over there. So you ready to go over?
Yeah, you can go over, but you got to get prepared before you go over. You got to put on your
Oh,
equipment.
I get a welding hat. We're going to walk back in and meet the guys in the welding program. So let's head on in. So we're inside this awesome, loud and really awesome, cool welding area. I've got Preston here with me. Hey, Preston.
How you doing?
Good. And we have Robbie here with me. Thanks for being here.
All right, thank you.
These are our 2 welding instructors here at Brunswick Community College welding program. So I was wondering, Preston, if you could just kind of walk me through and tell me what you have going on in here.
Pretty much we got about 8 to 10 welding stations. In welding 1 class that I teach now, we do mostly stick welding on plate, 3/8 plate, so get them prepared for structural welding jobs or fab shop welding jobs. We gonna walk around?
Well, yeah, do we want to walk around and kind of show us? And then, Robbie, you jump in whenever there's something we're missing. So show me where we're going.
Over here is this weld booth over here.
All right. Okay, let him come around.
Both these students here are working on vertical and overhead with a root pass, 60-10, and a 70-18 fill and cap. And then once they finish the plates, they'll grind them up. We'll cut them in half and we'll go bend them in the bender over there to see if it passes or fails.
All right. Robbie, how many students do you have in your class?
I have 8 students in my class.
So that's, Timothy was telling us y'all had to do a second class because you had an overwhelming response, so.
Yeah, that's why they brought in 2 classes this semester.
All right, Preston, you mentioned that you guys do stick welding. Can you tell me a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, with stick welding, you use a stick welding rod which is flux coated, so there's no gas required. You can run positive electrode or negative electrode. We usually here at the college run everything on positive. And basically what it does is use the rod to melt the 2 metals together, and the rod actually is the filler part that creates the bead on it.
All right, so Robbie, where would you use stick welding in a job?
any type of structural job or fab shop type stuff is mostly where you're going to use the majority of your stick welding. Because structural steel is like building I-beams and structural buildings and stuff like that.
Would it be to fix a problem or to create like additional links to something? Is that what you would do with that?
Yeah, you could use it for both,
Okay.
to repair and to do new projects.
All right, I have a question. So what kind of jobs do you get in welding? Where would you find a welding job at? Where would I go if I wanted to work for welding?
Nuclear power plants, paper mills, regular fab shops. I mean, around here you got Duke Power, Riegelwood. Wilmington also has probably 5 or 6 welding shops up there. I mean, welding, we need welders, you know, in North Carolina, Brunswick County, because, I mean, it's hard to find good welders.
So what do you do? How do you get into welding? I mean, what made you decide to do welding?
Well, for me, it was my father done it, so I watched him do it, and it just came easy to me, so I just continued into it.
Now, do you work, do you have your own business, or do you work for a company that requires you to weld?
I work for a company.
Awesome. How about you, Preston? How did you get into welding?
My dad was a pipeline welder for 26 years and had his own business up north, and we moved south, and I started my own welding business.
I think it's wonderful that both of you guys are giving back to the community to showcase your welding skills to future welders here in the area. So do you like that part of your job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How about you, Robbie? Do you like giving back to your community?
Yeah, the teaching part of it's cool.
I know that there is a component of lab time. This is the lab time, right? And then you have classroom time where you have to spend, like, you have to read a little bit about the program. So how much of that, do you spend more time in the lab, or do you spend equal amounts in the classroom studying?
Pretty much we try to spend as much time as we can in the lab, but we have to take written tests also in Welding 1, and also there's 3 other classes that you have to get the NCCER certification.
What's one of the classes that you have to get for that certification?
Okay, well, you need to complete your welding class, and you also have a green environment class and math class also to go along with getting your certification out here.
Okay, so I find it kind of interesting that y'all do green, and y'all find out about green ways of doing things environmentally. That's really great. So I think what we're going to do is, if y'all will let me see a hands-on demonstration on some welding. You think I could do that? All right, well, let's go do that. All right, so they're going to be brave and let me take a look at what this welding's all about. And I've got one of the students here, and your name is?
Jonathan.
All right, Jonathan, you're going to talk to me about what we're getting ready to do. So tell me what this is and what we're about to do.
We got the flat weld on this piece of metal here. This is like one of our first tests we ever had to do when we first started welding one. And you know, when I first started, I couldn't weld a beam for nothing, to be honest with you.
All right, so this is the Welding 101, the first test that you had to do to make sure before you can pass on through. So what are we going to do next?
First, you get you a clean piece of metal. Okay. Get you a rod. Make sure your machine's set on, the right temperature, and then pretty much you get started.
What temperature does it have to be set on, you think?
Well, it depends on the rod that you run. Like a bigger rod, you need a little bit more heat. Okay. Right now we're set at 115.
Okay.
So we're gonna try that.
All right. So what are you out to do?
Make sure you got the eyewear.
All right. So do we need to put our eyewear down yet?
Yeah, we'll put our eyewear down.
All right. Let's do that. Safety first, right?
Yeah. Always. You run your bead, then you run your bead real close to it. Try to keep it real tight. Try to be, consecutive, really. But
so without the fire on there, let me just hold this.
Okay.
And so, what is it? How does you have to put right on top of there?
Yes, ma'am. You try to stay close as possible can to the metal.
Okay.
And as you start, you'll have a puddle behind you, and the wider your puddle would mean the wider your bead would be. But as you pretty want to stay slow and keep a wide bead. A wide bead means a flat bead, and that's always good.
You think I could try this? Yeah. All right, so before we do it, I'm gonna put my hands on here, and then then what am I gonna do? Oh wow, look at that. All right, and then I'm just gonna go across it. All right, so when I start it, it's what?
It's almost like striking a match.
Across the metal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm a little nervous, just saying. There is a lot of art in that. It's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's, you know, you just have to take your time and practice.
All right, well, thank you, Jonathan. Real quick before we go, what made you go into the welding program?
I just wanted, a different career from me and my family, really. You know, times is hard, you know, you got to have a career behind you, really, to make ends meet, really.
Well, I think you did a great job, and I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
So I welded my first piece, which was kind of exciting with Jonathan. So now I've got Dalton here with me. So Dalton, tell me why you chose the welding program.
Well, and I used to go to school at BCA up there, and they said, and do you want to sign up? I said, sure. And next thing you know, I got put in here, and I was like, wow. I was so happy because I'm going to college, you know, and getting some experience with this, because I've been wanting to be a welder my whole life. And I was like, wow. And then after I do this, I'm probably going to start my second semester, and then I'm probably going to go get a job.
Well, we heard there's some amazing jobs that you can get with the welding background. What's your favorite part about welding?
Just welding and doing what I know best.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Dalton. All right, well, thank y'all for being here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did and learned a lot. And we'll see you next time on Be in Brunswick.
Basically, it's being used to incorporate the North Carolina math standards into a hands-on activity using the garden for that. They use it for many different ways. Fourth grade math and elementary math in general is kind of the everyday math that adults use. So when we go to plant our crops or harvest our crops, we have to figure out how many crops can we put into a box. So we have to multiply, divide the box, measure it, fraction it out, things like that. They like being outside. So much of their time is spent indoors, spending time using computers and things like that. So they really enjoy coming out and really getting their hands dirty and working out in the yard. And the way that the education system is and the money restrictions financially, we really don't have a lot of extra funds for projects like this. So it's important and really a huge thing that companies like ATMC hand out grants for education and allow teachers to do different projects and really open the eyes of students with things like gardens and other projects that they do.
I really appreciate it. This really has helped me with us growing a lot of things, and next year I'm going to 5th grade and I hope the 4th graders enjoy the garden.
You guys gave us the opportunity to get a hands-on experience with the garden and doing math while we're learning the garden.